Welcome to the More Than Fitness podcast.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minisode number 124. Today's Minisode is going to be how to set up a rapid fat loss diet. Now, real quick, before I get into things, my new 6-week online course, the Fat Loss Accelerator, is now available. If you're listening to this within the week of April 11th through April 18th, April 18th is whenever the course officially starts. But if you're listening to this today, being Monday, the course should be available still for the early bird offer at $99. If you didn't get in yesterday, then you missed out on getting it for $79. The price is increasing every single day. So if you're interested in the Fat Loss Accelerator, make sure you click the link in the description so that you can sign up for that cheaper price. So it was $79 on Sunday, $99 on Monday, and Tuesday will be the last day of early bird offers, and it will be $119. And then until launch date, so Wednesday until the 18th, it will be $149. Just a one-time payment for all of those. You get everything, 6 weeks of workouts, the app, the diet, help from me, all that kind of fun stuff. So make sure you click the link in the description to check that out. And all right, let's get into it. With this Minisode, how to set up a rapid fat loss diet, I'm basically going to go through my thinking real quick. And of course, this is since I'm trying to cover it all, it's not going to be the nitty gritty stuff. It's probably why you should join the course. But I'm going to give you the broad overview of stuff, and you can kind of, if you don't want to end up getting the course, then you can try and piece the puzzles, put the puzzle pieces together yourself. All right, good start. Okay, the first step that you should do to set up a rapid fat loss diet, as I mentioned in the last Minisode, you need to do a self-audit. Is rapid fat loss for you? And real quick, just if you currently or in the past have had any diagnosed eating disorders or any type of disordered eating, or if you constantly obsess over how you look, what the scale says, obsessively tracking, rapid fat loss is not for you. So basically do a self-audit first to see if you are have a good relationship with food, you have a good relationship with your body, a fairly good relationship. Everybody wishes they could change things, but if it's an unhealthy manner, then you probably should not be doing a rapid fat loss diet. Okay, so let's say you go ahead and do that. Let's move on to the next step. And how I set it up in the course is, in the very beginning, I just want to get the easy wins, because that's what makes the most sense. Like, most of us know what we should or shouldn't be doing for a fat loss diet, but we just aren't actually doing it. So what I tried to do in the very beginning of this course is focus a lot on more so adherence strategies and how you can kind of do less but get more. And these would be small things, like setting out your clothes next to your bed to make sure that you're triggered to wake up, put your clothes on, and then you increase your chances of actually getting to the gym, right? Or let's say you keep fruit in your fridge, and we want to make the right choice, the easy choice. So we buy pre-cut fruit, so chopped up fruit, and we put it where it's easily visible in your fridge. So that whenever you open the fridge, you're tempted to make the healthy choice easy, right? So these things, these different adherence strategies are huge, but then also it's things like, stop drinking so much with dinner every single day, or stop having so many beers on the weekend, or so many cocktails, or whatever. Cutting back on the alcohol is something that's pretty straightforward. That's not doing good for your fat loss goals. Other things like really hardcore desserts and stuff. And if it's anything that's like, oh, I don't know if that's healthy or not, that's not exactly what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about like eating that entire row of Oreos after dinner or at nighttime, or eating a bunch of ice cream at nighttime, right? These are the things that are like, okay, we should probably stop doing that and buy some more protein and vegetables. These are kind of the things that we're going to get right first. This is going to set the stage for the next couple of weeks. You're going to be able to build momentum and keep that momentum going for the weeks ahead. Okay, after that, then the most important things are going to be calculating your calories and macros. And of course, again, this is very contextual and I can't just give you random calculations here, but you want to set a pretty aggressive calorie deficit. I think for most people, it's going to be somewhat like just a very vague generalization is like 10 to 12 calories per pound of body weight. I think that's about right. Something like that. That's a good starting point, at least, right? And then as far as macros go, about 1 gram per pound of protein. So if you weigh 160 pounds, try to aim for about 160 grams of protein per day is going to be a really good idea. And it's super important to have even higher protein than normal, because if I say that and they're like, oh, dude, that's quite a bit of protein. And if you're super overweight, you can maybe go down to 0.8 grams per pound, right? So if you have a lot of body fat to lose, you don't have to do 1 gram per pound. But for most people, 0.8 to about 1 gram per pound is going to be set. And the reason why it's so important is because if you're already in a really big calorie deficit for rapid fat loss, you're at a greater risk of losing muscle mass. So having that higher protein intake will help offset that and save your hard-earned muscle as you lose body fat. Another one that's really important is going to be your carbohydrate intake. A lot of people think that you should just go extremely low carb. And while that can help you lose a lot of weight, not necessarily fat, right? Because it's two different things. A lot of that weight will be just water weight. And then also you're probably risking more muscle mass as well. And the reason why carbs are so important for retaining muscle mass beyond some of the actual physiological things in there from a nutritional standpoint, but in terms of performance in the gym, carbs fuel lifting, lifting fuels muscle retention while dieting. It's about as straightforward as you can get. So having as high of amount of carbs as possible while still hitting your protein minimum for the day, your fat minimum for the day, and calories, yes, and your calorie goal for the day, blank there, but I got it, then you should be all set. But the carbs are huge in making sure that your performance in the gym stays high throughout the rapid fat loss period. Okay, next step is leading into lifting, right? So should you train the same during a rapid fat loss protocol as you do just normal, like whenever you're let's say you're eating at maintenance, or even if you're in a surplus? There's not going to be tons of big differences. You're still going to use most of the same lifts and things like that. The basics that work, right? No matter if you're cutting or you're bulking. The thing that you have to make sure that you're mindful of is, again, you're eating quite a few less calories. So you're not going to have as much energy and nutrients to go around to help you recover from very intense lifting. So if you go on a rapid fat loss protocol and you also ramp up the intensity of your workouts, well, then you're kind of burning the candle at both ends, right? That's whenever things can get dicey and you're really pushing injury or burnout or just a bad result in general. The safer route is to use them synergistically together. And again, that can get very detailed, but if you're wondering the specifics, sign up for the course. You guys see what I'm doing throughout this? I'm not trying to hide that this is a promotion for the Fat Loss Accelerator, but I also want to give you guys some value in case you just want the overarching principles that are involved. But yeah, so with the lifting, just make sure that the intensity isn't ramped up too much. Basically, you would wave that intensity throughout, let's say, a 6-week period, 6-week online course. You would wave those intensities to make sure everything is balanced out. And that brings me to cardio recommendations. And for rapid fat loss, I think you can do a little bit. Most people, whenever they think of cardio for rapid fat loss, they think they're going to just, do tons of high intensity stuff. But again, going back to the same thinking behind the lifting, you don't want to do high intensity stuff because you're already so fatigued from one, the lifting, but then two, the very small amount of calories that you're eating each day. It's just a lot to put on your body. So a better route would be to bias more towards low intensity, steady state cardio, like walking or just biking or something like that, going hiking, things that aren't as intense and you kind of do them for longer durations. right? And the very last thing is going to be making sure that you have some type of exit strategy. After you are in a big deficit for a very long period of time, or not a very long, but let's say a 6-week period of time, you're going to have to make sure that you don't just, after that diet is up, and then, so let's use a real life example. Let's say I'm going to the beach in 6 weeks, and for the next 6 weeks, I want to do a rapid fat loss protocol or fat loss accelerator. And at the end of those 6 weeks, I'm going on vacation, and then I just want to go back to my normal eating from that vacation point on. So I think if you do the rapid fat loss for the 6 weeks, then you go on vacation. I think for that week of the vacation, you can probably eat. I wouldn't try and eat like an asshole. That's definitely not a good idea. But I'm also not going to tell you to be as diligent as you were during the fat loss accelerator. But eat, reasonable, enjoy yourself. And then whenever you get back from the vacation, that's whenever you might want to dial things back in, because you want to go to about maintenance calories and try and maintain your weight after the rapid fat loss protocol is over. Because if you just go back to your normal eating and you start eating like an asshole, well, now your metabolism has slowed down, and then you now have a lower maintenance calories to maintain your weight on a regular basis. Then you spike your eating and your calories go way up, and so you're actually in a more prone spot to gain back lots of fat if that's the case. So it's very important to be mindful of that. Have an exit strategy, maintain your calories after the fat loss period is over, and then you should be good to go. All right, and that is it for how to set up a rapid fat loss diet. Again, make sure you check the link in my description to find out everything that's included in the fat loss accelerator, in the course, how much it costs, no matter when you're listening to this, and hopefully I'll see you inside. All right. Thank you guys, as always, for listening and for watching. See ya.